I think Don Lemon regrets this question. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about CNN anchor Don Lemon yet again. Apparently, he still has his show for the time being until it gets canceled, and he decided to have on an English scholar, not a scholar in the English language, but somebody from the United Kingdom. I'm not sure who she is exactly, but they got to talking about the Kingdom of Great Britain, the United Kingdom, and slavery, their role in it, and if they should pay reparations. Now, he got a great answer that I'm not quite sure that he was expecting. Maybe he wanted her to just be apologizing, bending the knee, talking about, yeah, we're sorry, we're going to do it. Give him an empty promise, because let's be clear, reparations and anybody that says, yes, we're going to pay it, it's an empty promise. Because how long has it been since the end of slavery? 1865, you're talking about 150 years ago. If it was going to happen, it would have already happened. It's not happened yet. It probably won't happen ever. Maybe it will, but don't hold your breath. And before I go too far into that topic, let's roll the clip. Of course, this clip will be available in the description box if you want to see it without my commentary. Let's go ahead and roll it up right here. You see the headline, the caption, but let's go ahead and just watch the clip.
Well, this is coming when, there's all of this wealth and you hear about it comes as England is facing rising costs of living, a living crisis, austerity budget cuts, and so on. And then you have those who are asking for reparations for colonialism, and they're wondering, $100 billion, $24 billion here and there, $500 million there. Some people want to be paid back, and members of the public are wondering, why are we suffering when you have all of this vast wealth? Those are legitimate concerns.
Well, I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa. And when across the entire world, when the slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery. 2,000 naval men died on the high seas trying to stop slavery. Why? Because the African kings were rounding up their own people. They had them on cages waiting in the beaches. No one was running into Africa to get them. And I think you're totally right. If reparations need to be paid, we need to go right back to the beginning of that supply chain and say who was rounding up their own people and having them handcuffed in cages. Absolutely. That's where they should start. And maybe, I don't know, the descendants of those families where they died in the high seas trying to stop the slavery, that those families should receive something too, I think, at the same time.
There you have it. I couldn't say it better myself. I've been saying that for a long time in different ways. I don't know who she is again, but this was very well done. Hillary Fordwich is her name, royal commentator. That was fantastic. Let me come back here so you can see me clearly. That was great. Because I think here's the thing, and people that are reparation supporters, if they're for reparations, they're going to be mad at me. I understand they're going to be mad at me, but just hear me out. You can't just point to the people that have the most money or who you think have the most money and say, hey, you got to pay for reparations while ignoring everybody else that was involved. If we're going to talk reparations, let's talk about the whole thing holistically, not just in pieces. Talk about everybody that was involved. Talk about the Europeans, talk about the Africans, talk about the Arabs, talk about everyone that was involved. It's not just, okay, the Africans, they were the victims, the Europeans, they were the ones that pillared and plundered. When you were in school, they didn't get into the details of it usually about the slave trade. But they told you what it was. It was a slave trade, not the slave kidnap. Okay? The slaves were not kidnapped. The white man was not pulling up to the shores of West Africa and raiding villages and taking slaves and putting them on the boat. That's not what happened. The slaves are already right there in the cage, nice and ready. And they would take the slaves in the cage, put them on the boat, and then in return, the leaders of these African nations would get supplies, goods, hand mirrors, spices, umbrellas, stuff like that. That's the truth. That's the reality. Now, I'm not trying to say the Europeans were okay and it was fine for taking slaves and engaging in slavery, but neither were the Africans, neither were the Arabs who also engaged in slavery. And they talk about places like Timbuktu, but Timbuktu was like a notorious slave trading post because it was a point where you can go straight up from West Africa, like through like Burkina Faso, all of that. You can go straight up to Timbuktu and then go across the Sahara to the Ottoman Empire, where they also were engaged in the slave trade. And that was a much more brutal journey than going in the ship because you walking no foot. You walking no foot across the Sahara Desert. Good luck finding food and water. You would die just walking on your feet out there. So the whole practice of slavery was brutal, but we can't compartmentalize and ignore certain things when it just is convenient for us to do so. I think what's going on right now with slavery reparations is people kind of have envy and they say, oh, okay, well, the Kingdom of Great Britain, you guys are this first world advanced nation. You built your empire on the back of slavery. Therefore, you owe us some money. They only owe money is the reason why they owe money to people that think that way is because they are viewed as a successful nation that benefited from slavery. What about nations that built themselves on slavery that are not as successful? They don't really count because they're not as successful and popular as Britain, the Kingdom of Great Britain, United Kingdom. It doesn't make any sense. Everyone who was responsible should be responsible, not just the most successful. And I'm going to say this because I don't even like the idea of reparations at all, because the guys I know, black guys and girls I know, we out here getting money. We're getting money. It's 2022. We're in America. It's so much money out here. It's kind of like you're begging for money at this point. I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I know that's gonna be a bad thing to say. I know that might be a soundbite, but at this point, you're begging for money. That's all it is. Go out there, make some of yourself, get money, get a skill, and move forward. Move forward. We have black multimillionaires, billionaires in the world, in the country, and it's going to keep rising up every year. Okay. We've come a very long way from slavery in the United States. We've come a very long way from slavery in the world, although in certain parts of the world, you still got slavery like Africa, China. But anyway, I digress. And China's coming back to Africa to enslave them again, but that's a different story, and I won't go down that road. The point I'm making is this. In America especially, we have a troubled history. Slavery is part of it. We've moved beyond that, and we've progressed in the true way, not in the quote-unquote progressive way, but in the true way. We've gotten beyond that, and now we're in an age where there's so much money out here, it's just up for taking. So if you are focused on the past and trying to get paid from the past, and that's where you are, you're not looking at what's right in front of you. Like, you got a whole pot of gold right in front of your face. A whole pot of gold right in front of your face, but you're looking over there in the past at reparations, trying to have that come in. And even if it did come in, what's it going to be? Your own tax money, printing it, spend it, and then you're going to have more and more inflation. And same as what we got going on right now. It's not going to be beneficial. It's not going to help you at all. And it probably won't even happen anyway. So what's the purpose in focusing on it? If you want to talk about that, in my opinion, it's like a hobby, just something to do. It's like going to a book club and reading fictional books. Focus on getting money right now where you are. What Booker T say, cash your bucket where you stand, cash your bucket where you are. Just do that, because if you just cash your bucket, sit your bucket down, you have a whole pot of gold fall in it at this point. Minimal effort. Get some skills, get a trade, and progress in life, move forward in life. That's what I would say. Because if you want to go back to slavery time and talk reparations and say who was responsible, who's owing money, then it won't just be the successful person. It'll be everybody. And ultimately, if it's going to get paid, it'll be you as an American who's on the hook for the bill. That's how that works. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what the woman, what's her name, Hillary Fortwich said on Don Lemon's show about reparations? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. I think she was 100% accurate. Everyone won't agree with it, but you know, you can call me names, you could call her names, but what you can't say is that we're lying. Call me that. I challenge anybody that has anything negative to say to call me a liar. You call me whatever you want. If it makes you feel good, you got to be able to vent. You got to be able to attack me through to shoot of anonymity online, that's great. But can you call me a liar, though? And if you can't call me a liar, but you're still upset, you got to ask yourself, why am I mad at the truth? Why am I upset with reality? As I've said before, reality is reality. It doesn't matter who experiences it, who witnesses it, or how it's perceived. Reality is reality, regardless of what. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.